My name is David Toland. I serve both as Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Commerce for the state of Kansas. And I have worked as Secretary to support the hunt because of its important role as a tourism driver for El Dorado, Butler County, South Central Kansas, and as something that brings great positive attention to our state, to a cross section of people from around the country. Governor Hayden had reached out to me, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years ago, about the hunt. First, I think to introduce me to it, to see what awareness I had. And I'd heard of it, but didn't know a lot. And we had some conversations internally at Commerce about what we could do to support it and try to grow it. And we made a small grant to try and help take it to the next level. And as part of those conversations, the governor said, well, David, you ought to come on down and join the hunt. And the reality for me was I grew up in Allen County, was always outdoors, riding bikes, swimming in the creek, doing all the things, but I didn't grow up in a family that hunted. And so I was absolutely open to it, but a little bit nervous because I'd never hunted in my life. But I said, Governor, I will. I'd love to. And I wasn't able to do it that year, but I did in 2023. And it was a really life-changing, extremely vivid event for me. Well, if I go in reverse order, the adrenaline rush I remember having that went on for several hours. And my assistant, Ryan, was with me, and he got his own bird. His was smaller than mine, but who's counting? And both of us were just absolutely, it was like we were filled with jet fuel or something. And going backwards from there, Will Johnson, who's the Butler County, Kansas County Administrator, was my guide. And he and I had such a good time just talking. You know, he was really thoughtful and kind to me in making sure that as a first-time hunter, I knew what to do. He didn't make me feel dumb. It was just a really nice, I don't know, friendship that got developed that day. And I feel like I made a bunch of friends throughout the 24 hours that we were together. And then going to the night before, so the dinner the night before the hunt is a great time. I had so much fun. I was asked to speak as lieutenant governor, and so I got up there and I didn't really have prepared notes. I just told a story, which was about one of my closest friends from childhood and into adulthood, Tim, who had given me a Benelli 12-gauge shotgun. And I did not get the chance to go hunting with Tim because he died at age 39. And he was going to take me turkey hunting, and it never got to happen. So I had brought that gun, which I had never fired, and it was with me at the hunt. And so I told the story of Tim and our relationship and what it was like for me growing up in Allen County and my connection to the outdoors, and what a big deal it is for me to be able to hopefully in the morning get a bird, and that I kind of felt Tim's presence with me. And I'm hoping he'll, be with me in the morning too when I need to get a turkey. And it was one of those times, and Governor Hayden knows what I'm talking about, where you know that you've made a connection with the room and people were really listening. And I was told that later on, the guy who was sitting next to Will Johnson, who was going to be my guide in the morning, leans over and goes, "You better get that guy a bird. No pressure or anything." And so it was really a period, a hunt, a time for me that feels like we packed in a lot. There were just tremendous highs, some really thoughtful and poignant moments too, and I had a great time. So one of the friends I made through the hunt is Will Johnson, as I mentioned, who was my guide. And he not only took me out that morning, but after we got the bird, and I'll tell you, he was as excited, maybe more excited than I was. Maybe he was just relieved. All the pressure was off on me getting a bird, but he was hooting and hollering like a kid on Christmas morning when I shot my bird. And afterward, he offered to mount the tail feathers, which I have right here. And I'll tell you, I did not blow that feather off that's missing. It was intact, but somehow it's fallen off since then. But I did not shoot it in the tail. I had a good clean shot. And then the beard is on here too. And Ryan, my assistant, the beard on his turkey was so short they couldn't even mount it, right, Ryan? Sorry. So anyway, I had a great time with that, and it's a source of pride for me that I keep in my office and have enjoyed telling the story of the one-shot turkey hunt and that that period there and it's a good way to connect with people and show a different side to myself than what they might normally see when I'm all suited up like this. So I mentioned that I'm the Secretary of Commerce. As the Secretary, we are constantly engaged in recruiting companies to invest in Kansas and to encourage the existing Kansas companies that are here to expand. And so part of how we do that is through high quality events of all types that we do with executives and site consultants and other folks like that advise companies on where they should go. So in 2023, we were in quite a street fight to win an investment by a company called Marvin Windows. And maybe some of the folks that are watching this have Marvin Windows in their home. It's a terrific company, some of the best windows that are on the market. And they were looking for a site to build a large manufacturing facility. So Kansas was one of the finalists at that time, and we were very much engaged in that work. And we had some challenge, though, in getting the executives to come and look at some of the sites. So as it turned out, the one-shot turkey hunt was of great interest to those folks, and they came to El Dorado and participated in the hunt that year. So in a couple of weeks, I will be cutting the ribbon at Marvin Windows' new manufacturing facility in Kansas City, Kansas. It's a $76 million investment by the company. They will employ 600 Kansans in their 400,000 square foot facility. So there's a lot of factors that go into a site decision like that, a couple $100 million facility. But one of them is the folks need to get to the state. They have to have a reason to come, and they want to do something different. And something like the one-shot turkey hunt is a great business recruitment tool for us, and Marvin Windows, case in point. The cross-section of people that you've got at the hunt includes people that are very high net worth individuals who've come in from around the country to just everyday folks that want to be part of the camaraderie and the experience there, and who may have just come from 50 miles down the road to El Dorado. And so you get to talk to all sorts of people that I may not get to talk to on a daily basis. And one of the things that's really nice is that it's bipartisan. You're just all out there around a common goal, wanting to have a good time. And so, over next to me, Attorney General Kobach was there, and we're different parties and whatnot. But hey, we had a nice time talking with each other. I asked, what was the size of the bird he got last year? And I think he got first place, and I did not get first place this year. But, you get to talk about things that I hope build and nurture relationships and bring people together. It's something we really need right now in our country. And so I think it does a lot of good. I've been extraordinarily fortunate in my professional life working for the state, being able to travel around the world and go to Tokyo and Berlin and Paris and all over and have very high quality experiences of all types. And this was a type of experience that I simply hadn't had. So it has enriched my life as a human being. It connected me to the outdoors in a different way from what I had been able to experience in the past. It's helped shape my understanding of conservation and what it means to ensure that we can be responsible stewards of the environment so that my kids and their kids have the same opportunities that I've had. And just as previous generations before me have worked to ensure that I can have the opportunity to hunt in Butler County. And so it's meant a lot. It has enriched me, it really has. The turkey hunt means a tremendous amount for El Dorado, Butler County, and South Central Kansas. You put a bunch of heads in beds, which is really important. Most of the people that are coming are certainly net new dollars to El Dorado, but many of them are also net new tourists into Kansas. So they're bringing money from other states into Kansas. And as Secretary of Commerce, it's really important for me to make sure that they have a high quality experience while they're here. And ideally, we want to expose these folks to the industrial sites that we have in Kansas, to other commercial and investment opportunities that exist, and then philanthropy as well. We've had some very, very generous people who were introduced to Kansas through the hunt that have chosen to support philanthropic causes in our state, even though they didn't otherwise have any sort of connection to Kansas. So the amount of good that the hunt has done over its lifespan is tremendous. The future of the one shot is determined by all of us, by our willingness to roll up our sleeves and for the volunteers to keep working the way they do, to hustle to get those sponsorships, which are so key. I think we need to always be looking at ways that we can have a regulatory environment and an environment that enables us to bring out-of-state hunters into Kansas so that they can be exposed to all the opportunities that exist here. So it really is one of these public-private partnerships that if we work together, we can keep this going and I hope really grow it into the future. But that all depends on us and our willingness as Kansans to dig in and do the hard work.